One last video in this 5-part series on who are we and how did we get here? Getting into the really interesting stuff. We left you with, oh my gosh, we've got Lyme disease, we're spending more money than we're making, and yet we can't go out and do the farming stuff because we're physically disabled, but have more bills. So what are we gonna do? And as an entrepreneur, I couldn't just go out and get a regular job, and I couldn't. Some people would say, why don't you just go be a waiter or something? And
it's like,
I can't. Didn't I tell you I can't stand?
Yeah,
It kills me.
He couldn't.
And why don't you data entry? Don't you hear? I'm having this brain fog.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it, I'm an entrepreneur and I have to work for myself. So
yeah.
We had this fun.
Well, this is one thing that we didn't talk about. We had become debt-free, completely debt-free way back before Honduras. Actually.
Yeah,
we had become
when
debt-free.
we had the group home job.
We paid off any business debts that we had with Mountain Board Shop, and we paid off all of our personal debts, which was like a vehicle that we sold and stuff like that. So we had gotten out of...
we had nothing.
We
no
had
mortgage,
like $40,000 in debt, and we got out of that. We paid that off in 6 months, way back in 2006. So here we are, Lyme disease, we're staying kind of flush with money. We're doing okay, but it's like it felt like we were gonna fall off a cliff soon. And so I said to Justin, I think we should get a credit card.
Yeah.
And at first he was really like, no, I want to do this debt free. Like, I really want to do this debt free. And I was like, okay, I really respect that. I don't want to go into debt. But at the same time, like, what happens when we need to buy groceries and we don't have the money? And stuff like that. Like, what happens when we need to pay our bills and we can't? And not that I don't recommend this, but this is where we were at. Like, it was a very dark time of fear of like, how is this going to work? And we were living very frugally, and it was still not enough just to not spend money, because we still had to spend money. His medications and stuff, they cost money. And so it was going to the doctor cost money. And it was just a really weird time for us, because we had been debt free, and then it was feeling like we needed to get a credit card.
Financial straits. And I can't remember which one happened before the other, if they happened at the same time. But Jeff Flotton, a permaculture guy we had started to follow, trained under one of the co-founders of permaculture, had put out these videos and became really intrigued with them and his systems, and I feel like I wanted to go train under him to explore this as a possible career option, because I knew the physical labor of the professional farming wasn't going to work. The 14 hours physical labor days wasn't going to work. And at the same-ish time, my farm mentor, Steve, had given me a book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And that was very appealing to me, because it was like we were so busy working on getting better, and it felt like I only had 4 hours. And that seemed promising. So going into the PDC in Australia, taking basically a tax return, because how we do it, we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Took a tax return, went all the way to Australia.
It was a huge investment for us. It was kind of scary.
Kept an open mind, basically, of what's the big career change here. And I can remember on the way home in the airplane feeling very motivated to become a permaculture designer, where you'd go around and I came up with a whole plan, a whole business and marketing plan on the way home. I came home, I called the local permaculture designer I had a relationship with at the time, and he said something like, I was going to do a Kickstarter for it, remember that?
Yes.
And to start this permaculture design business. And he said, well, why do you need all this stuff? And it was just like some designing stuff. He's like, just go out and do it. And I was like, yeah, I don't really need that. And then the more I thought about it, it was like, do I really do well interacting one-on-one?
Yeah.
And so I kind of started kicking around the 4-hour work week concepts, where you basically teach something that you know in a book and a video. Really. And we explored all kinds of different ideas. I don't have to get in all my different kind of entrepreneurial ideas, but
they're crazy.
We'll just jump to the chase, where we came up with this idea to do a movie. It was a companion ebook, Permaculture Chickens. And we had even lined up, and I think this is important, we had lined up somebody else to be the star. I was just going to be the producer. an author that I admired, not Joel Salatin, and although I admired Joel Salatin, this guy was like a homesteading level type thing, like homesteading permaculture, and we couldn't do him. Like he had agreed, but the publisher ended that.
Yeah, his publisher did.
The publisher said, no, we have film rights, blah, blah. So that ended, and then we were like, okay, who are we going to get to do this? Could I do this?
Well, we had a friend who he had come, and he was a local youth pastor, and he would bring his youth out here, and they would turn compost for us because Justin couldn't physically do that, and he wanted to help us, and he wanted to get out and do something different with his kids, and not do the traditional stuff. And so he was like, this is a win-win, like it's helping you. And so he was a good friend to us at the time, and we were telling him all, this was all unfolding with him too. We were telling him what's going on, and he said to Justin, you should do it. You should be the one. And we were all like, And he's like, no, I think it would be really good, Justin. Like, you know what you're talking about. Like, you're doing all of this. Because, like, Justin was basically telling this gentleman what to do.
Yeah.
And he was like, you've told me, I've learned so much from you. I think you have the knowledge to do this. And I'll never forget it. One night, Justin, I don't know what happened, but you were laying on the couch. And you said to me, do you think I can do it? Or something like that. And it was just like...
That was scary to ask you that.
It was. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because it's like, what else were we going to do? Well, we had no other options.
Well,
like,
it's hard.
We had like made this, we had this plan, but then the plan kind of, part of it fell apart. But we still had this great plan that we believed in. And so we were like, just pivot.
Yeah.
And
it's
make
hard to
it
set
work.
yourself up as the expert, as the authority. But really what I found out now, nobody really is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows everything. And if you learn something, you can teach that. And so I could teach what I know. I was also aligned people like Pat Foreman, Joel Salatin, Jim Atkins. So others to come along Lisa Steele, others to come along in and be authorities with me and to put my face up next to theirs. When we launched a Kickstarter, we had heard about this Kickstarter thing, and guys, I had 7 people on my email list. That was probably friends and relatives from Facebook or something. And I didn't know how to do a Kickstarter, so I went to the library. I got one book on Kickstarter, and I read 2 articles online, formulated a plan, basically worked full-time 30 days before the Kickstarter, and then 2 weeks into the Kickstarter, and raised $35,000 in 30 days and built my email list to 1,200 people because all the backers, right? So going into that Kickstarter, it was so important, not the Kickstarter so much, but it's like, okay, we got the Kickstarter money. We actually got more than we wanted. And I was afraid going into it that, what if we get just what we need? And then we have to still figure out how to get by to still make this happen. Well, that happened. We got more than our goal, but thankfully, because it cost way more than we thought. And we still had to find a way to get by. Well, you had gotten us credit cards.
Yeah.
And guys, we had to live on credit cards. And got to the point of maxing those out.
Yeah.
We're almost maxing these credit cards out. And we're going into, okay, the movie's finally here. We did the Kickstarter. Yeah. We somehow scrounged by with credit cards and got the movie made. And now it's going to come out. It's in November. And it was like, how are we going to pay for groceries next week? Seriously, it was that bad. It's like, we're going to have to sell part of the farm or something. What are we going to do? So it wasn't like, how are we going to make this work? It was, this has to work. We launched this Kickstarter. Oh, no, it wasn't the Kickstarter. So we launched, go ahead.
Well, we did the Kickstarter to get the project done. And then we'd gotten to, it was like October, November, and we were actually going to launch the product to the public because the whole year, so the Kickstarter was in like February, and the whole year was a build up of like getting the project out there and like getting other people interested in it so that when we launched it again, like, because Kickstarter, you sell the product at a discount, but then
that's right,
you sell the product.
It's a pre-sale,
right? So then we were like, we launched it to people on our email list first.
Yeah.
And
well, let's back up. Let me back up because I should have said this first. that whole time, from Kickstarter to finished and out, the business model that I picked up on was to create content.
Yes.
And so I was writing blogs about chickens, and that was helping me prep for permaculture, to actually do the film Permaculture Chickens. And it was also building my audience, because people could read my articles. I would put the articles out through the Facebook groups and stuff like that. People would read the articles, and at the end, if they wanted a little bonus, they could sign up for the email list.
Right.
So come time to launch, I had picked up how am I going to launch? How am I going to launch? I'm listening to these business guys, Smart Passive Income, 4 Hour Work Week, the Tim Ferriss podcast, trying to get ideas on how to launch this thing. Well, finally, somebody's on the Smart Passive Income talking about the book Launch by Jeff Walker. And I'm like, oh, that sounds exactly what I need to do. And it was basically you putting out 3 free videos, providing content, getting emails, bringing in partners to do that with you, other people who have audiences, bring in to these 3 videos. And then, after they've enjoyed the 3 videos, then offering them the movie.
Right.
And we went into our email list launch, and that lasted for we had like 4,500 people on our email list. It lasted for 7 days. How much we make?
It was like $10,000 or $12,000.
We're like, okay,
and
we're
we
not
were
gonna
like,
have to go bankrupt.
We're gonna make it. Like, this is actually gonna be. This can actually be a job.
Yeah.
For us, and it was like a huge relief of like, okay, this is gonna work. And in this time, we discovered YouTube. So.
Well, then we went on to sell with the partner launch with other influencers in the field, and did like 22,500, Rebecca.
Yes.
So in like 2 weeks, another $35,000 sale. And sure, we had, we gave them some cut of it.
We had to pay the affiliates.
We had to pay the affiliates, or got to pay the affiliates. And it was one thing. And we grew our email list to like 12,500 people. So, yeah.
But we had discovered YouTube in this time of like earlier in the summertime. We had discovered what vlogging was. Like, we didn't know.
Tell them how you discovered what vlogging was.
This was the thing. So on Facebook, people kept sharing this video about this man who had told his wife she was pregnant. And I was like, I didn't watch it for a really long time. I was like, I'm not going to watch it. Well, then I finally was like, fine, I'm curious. Like, enough people shared it on my Facebook feed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just look. So I I watched it, and I was like, this is so weird. Like, the man is like, it wasn't just a standalone video. It seemed as though like he was talking to people who like knew his life. And I was like, what is this? And then like it was like, subscribe to our channel. And I was like, what? What does that mean? And so I like went to his channel, and I was like, they put up a video every single day. What is this? And I was like, this is so weird. Like, they've been doing it for a year and a half or something crazy. And I was just like, what is this? I don't understand. And so I shared it with Justin. And I
would hear you watching it and wondering what your obsession was.
Yeah, my obsession was just like, I didn't understand it, and I wanted to understand it.
They weren't farming or anything.
No, it was just a family vlog. And so, but I mean, everybody loves a good pregnant story. So that was one of the reasons I was doing it. They did end up having a miscarriage. But it was an interesting story. It was an interesting story to follow. And my main thing was like just trying to figure it out. Like, what are they doing? Like, are they getting paid for this? Like, really? And then you found the Shaytards.
Yeah. Because I think I was getting into periscoping at the time.
So you were doing Periscope.
And Shaytards are YouTubers, and they were YouTubing at the time. It was another family vlog. And so I found about Periscope, which is like a live, it was like one of the first live streamings on phones. You can do it now on Facebook Live. You can do it now on Instagram Live. I don't even know, is Periscope even around anymore?
I have no idea.
But my business guys that I were following, like that whole like year and a half around that permaculture chickens, I was studying, Rebecca. As I was doing dishes, I was listening to Periscopes or podcasts. As I was driving, I would burn podcasts onto CDs
because we didn't have any way to like plug in a phone.
Like, it was the school of online marketing for me. And so I saw the Shaytards on Periscope, and they just had all these hearts flying. You could heart people and all these comments, all these followers, and it was really something amazing. And they really just having fun. as a family. And
They
I'm
were
like,
in Hawaii, I think.
I started thinking, like, could we
They had
do
just
something
released
like
a
this?
book. They had just released a book, and that's what they were doing, was
went
marketing
to the store
the
and
book.
saw their own book. But anyway, somewhere we just said, because remember, the business model at this point is put out content, discover a need of your audience. So putting out the content builds your audience, then you discover a need and you meet that need further through paid content. That's the whole model, and it's quite beautiful because you're giving out so much free content. A minority of people go through and actually pay for more content. But even the ones that so people can enjoy free content, but then if they pay for content, they're actually very much more likely to actually do something. So it's actually a wonderful, beautiful model. And so far, it's my favorite business, the one we're in now. We were writing blogs, and I enjoy writing. You don't enjoy editing blogs.
No, I mean, I did. I edited all your blogs and formatted them onto the website and blah, blah, blah.
I didn't enjoy that. You know, you go take certain pictures.
Yeah,
and I like the writing part, but it was...
it was me being with the kids.
Yeah.
So that you could write.
That wasn't like...
For 4 days.
Why I became an entrepreneur, really.
And then on Friday, I would format the blog and get it ready for release.
Yeah.
And all of that. And so then it was like, then you were with the kids. But we were never always together at the same time.
Yeah.
And so like as... You know, Permaculture Chickens was taking off. We were kind of like, people were wanting to know more about our personal lives and like what we were doing besides Permaculture Chickens. Like we were sharing about that, but then they were like, well, oh, you have a milk cow. We want to know more about that. And oh, you do this. And oh, you do that. And what else do you do that we're interested in? And so it was kind of like one of those things where we had been talking about where to create content, how to create content for the future, and like, was blogging what we were going to do, or was podcasting what you were going to do, or well, now there's this new thing that we just found out about called vlogging on YouTube.
But before you go there, let me back up. So the blogging wasn't, I want you to finish that, but the blogging, it wasn't take your kid to work day every day. Blogging, because you couldn't get interrupted. It was harder to get interrupted. It was me having a home office. I want to be right here with everybody else. I want to be right over there at that standing desk, right in the middle of it all. And go on now with your story. So I mean, like, our whole thing was we wanted to be together as a family, doing something together as a family. We didn't want him just to be working from home. We wanted the whole family to be involved. And so we had seen there was other YouTube channels about homesteading, but they were more like informational. They weren't really like showing the life. And then we had seen this family vlog in which they show their everyday life. Yeah. And so that was kind of like, maybe that's what we should do, and we should try it. So what if we were a family vlog that was farming together?
Yeah.
That's what it became. And even in the Periscope days, they were very teachy Periscopes. And it would almost be like, can you watch the kids? I'm going to go out here and sit. I've got my little demonstration. But every once in a while, you know, I've always taken the kids with me. So Mr. Brown would need something, and he was little, and I'd pick him up and hold him here and finish my teaching. And it was live. You can't stop.
And people would
But when I
love
put
that.
Mr. Brown up, the hearts would start flying. I'm like, So when you saw this vlog, these family vlogs, I guess we were like, let's try it. And I can remember, I don't have my camera on me, but I think we tried it at the very first with a phone.
Yeah,
and
so it was
for
Christmas.
Practicing.
It was Christmas time, and we were walking on Main Street.
We're all going on 4 years from back
And you took some video of the kids walking down Main Street. Like, we love to go to Main Street and just walk up and down. The stores aren't open. It's just festive. Like, there's lights, and it's just fun.
I remember we tried to do s'mores over there or something. And I just remember filming myself and just filming. So awkward, and like, who cares? And
and it was really weird. And I remember you edited the video on your phone.
On my phone.
Like,
I wish I still had that.
I know.
Because I would so put it out there. But then I said, okay, let's get us a camera. Yeah. And we found out what they were using.
Yeah.
And we did it, and we launched it to our email list. It's private, unlisted, and we sent them a survey. And we said we wanted 2 goals in this. we wanted them to laugh and we wanted them to learn. That was like the premise. Like it was the blending of the family vlog and educational homesteading vlogs. We want you to laugh and learn. And so sent it to our fans, and we also asked some things like what could make it better or something. And I remember
it was too long.
Everybody laughed. Most people laughed, and most people learned. They did say it was too long. Maybe you could cut this out. It was very helpful. We cut it down, and that was our first vlog. It's called Chickens Escaping.
Yeah, it's called Pilot
It's
Vlog.
on YouTube.
It's just Pilot Vlog.
YouTube. And I think it got 400, 500 views right off the top. And how did that happen? Well, that's because we had the email list. We're like the 365-day to the overnight success story. Because
right.
We have built an audience going into YouTubing.
Yeah, before we even YouTubed, we already had an audience. So, I mean, we went into YouTube saying, like, wouldn't it be fun if we had just, like, 10,000 subscribers?
Yeah, well, we were going to continue to build our audience, sell content to better the people's lives after we've discovered their needs. And we've done that all along the way. We've done courses, we've done other DVDs, we've done the membership area has really resonated with people, and it's worked out wonderful. And I didn't even monetize. I didn't even let ads go up at YouTube because we were monetizing in a different way.
Yeah.
We didn't need the YouTube ads. But it's funny because you kept, every once in a while you say, you sure? Maybe we should monetize. I mean.
Well, people were telling us in the comments, like, you should monetize. And we were like, really?
I asked a business associate, well, what do you think? She's like, yeah, just monetize because we have some videos up that we don't even do anything. We're making $500 a month. And I'm like, okay. And that's like total passive income. I'm like, but here's what got me, because we thought people would be like annoyed with it or something, our audience. And our audience was actually starting to say, why don't you guys monetize? Because you guys are always looking out for us.
Yes.
You guys watching these videos particularly, they're the super fans, Rebecca.
Yeah.
So we thank you guys for early on. I mean, it wants to bring tears to my eyes. You're asking, why aren't you monetizing? Please monetize. And so we started thinking about it, and she said, well, people are just used to the ads in YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're just used to skipping them or watching them. So we get a cut of those ads, really. Yeah. That's how it works. And as soon as we monetize, we got a viral video or two. And they're still in our top videos. It was how I feed 30 chickens on $1.25 a day, something like that. And putting this fat hen out of her misery.
The fat hen video it got flagged.
Yeah, well, YouTube stopped monetizing butchering videos, but we rode that wave for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that was our defining moment when finally, like, we're going through this financial crisis. Sure, we did good on Kickstarter, but it was like a one-time thing. And sure, we did good once our movie came out and we sold it, but still, it's like a one-time thing. Like, what's going to be a continual?
Yeah.
So we're not always sweating selling the farm. I can remember we had that viral video, and it was tricky setting up monetization through Google and YouTube. And we finally figured it out, and you're supposed to get this thing in the mail, and we finally got it in the mail.
Yeah.
I had to come get you.
Yeah.
And I hugged you, like right there. Like right there in that dining room. I believe I cried.
Yeah, because it was like real. Like we were really going to get paid. And we couldn't believe it.
Like it wasn't even our first check. It was just our 4-digit code to enter or something.
Yeah, and then I do remember when we got the paycheck into our account, we were like, what? This is true? People get paid to do this? Like, until it like landed in the bank account, the money, we were like, is this really true? And I don't know. And then like it happened and we were a little bit like, oh, wow.
And how cool is that? Like, talk about the model of like building an audience with free content and then selling something. But talk about the YouTube model where nobody even has to buy anything ever, and it's just people who sit through the ads, and
it's crazy.
We get a cut. It's like we get to provide this content, this value, and they don't really have to give anything in return but that, and then they get the value from the video. It's just a wonderful business model.
It really is.
Like, now is the day for entrepreneurs as it ever has been. This is like, as an entrepreneur, this is a very exciting time because really you can put out content with a phone.
Yeah, you don't even have to have like a computer.
There's Kickstarter, there's
cameras.
There's other platforms besides YouTube. There's podcasting, there's reach, as good as my dad was, he was also sometimes my number one critic. And when we told him about the chicken movie, the idea for a chicken movie, he was like, you won't sell very many of those. But my dad was in his 80s at the time. And yeah, if you're thinking like my dad in this county, I might have sold a handful. But if you're thinking
Worldly.
Netherlands
like the whole
and
world.
Denmark and South Africa and Australia and Canada,
Southeast Asia.
then you can make a very fine living making a movie about chickens.
Well, I have to say, a lot of our friends were like, their eyes would like glaze over when we would tell them our idea. They'd be like,
You could tell they were thinking, you're nuts.
but they didn't want to say it. And I appreciate all the people who silently
Really?
criticized us.
I wish I could hear their car conversations on the way home. Really?
Did you hear that?
Wait, it's not a movie just about... He couldn't just do chickens. He's got to make it permaculture chickens?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. It was so funny. I remember one of my really good friends said, "You're going to make a movie about chickens? And that's how you're going to pay your bills?" And I was like, Justin has this whole plan.
We should have said, well, you should have heard his other ideas. This is the best one, trust me. We're going to go with it. We had to pick one and go.
And honestly, you know, and then we did the Kickstarter, and it was really like the Kickstarter is very much a, if it doesn't make it, we don't produce it. And so that was really, it was a really good gauge of.
Yeah. It's a wonderful test because like people are putting their money on it before it's even created.
Yeah.
So you can have this great idea and others will tell you that's a great idea too. But then if you turn around and say, well, I'm going to make that idea. Actually, could you give me $10 and then you'll get it even though we're going to sell it for 20. And then they're like, because people are nice. They want to be nice. They want, they don't want to say anything rude. So really, you have to test with dollar bills. Mm-hmm. And Kickstarter is a great way to do that. And if you don't get to the goal, nobody's card is ever even charged. Mm-hmm. So it was a wonderful way to go. Is that it? So yeah, we got into the vlogging. That's our story of how we got into vlogging. Guys, if you want, go check out the other 4 videos we did on our backstory. And I feel like you pretty much know our story from vlogging on, which is going on 4 years, Rebecca. We would have been vlogging 4 years in January. Isn't that something?
Crazy.
So you guys have been there for a lot of our journey. And big thanks to you guys for watching and for cheering us on and helping us through the bad times. We love you guys like family. We feel like that. We feel encouraged by your nice comments, your gifts over the years. Folks have been following us for a really long time. Our customers, deep-hearted thanks, because we couldn't do this without you. And we just love and appreciate you guys so much. Tomorrow, the plan is, as of now, to upload 1 video from our vacation.
Yes.
I would have not edited. Well, I would edit on the way home in Florida.
Yeah.
And you'll get 1 video from the highlights of our vacations because it's okay to bring out the camera. It's not that hard work. No. That much of hard work.
Well,
and we want to document for ourselves. And
we want to have the memories. And so if we're going to put together a film, we might as well share it with you guys too.
And we know you super fans will really enjoy that.
Yeah.
So. And then we'll be back to regular vlogging.
Hopefully we had a good time.
All right. Bye-bye.